Excellent. Well, welcome to New at 2 with Be Sew-In. We're so glad to have you all join us today.
Yes.
So today we wanted to talk about some of the foot kits that we have.
Yes.
This one is the Babylock 12-foot kit.
There's all sorts of things in there.
We have multiple ones. We have a quilt one, we have one.
There's a creative one.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, and I'm
there's
telling you,
tons.
There are, and it is a wonderful way to get a lot of feet for a really great price.
Oh yeah, because if you buy a foot individually, it's $15, $16-ish.
At least that's the minimum,
depending on the foot.
Right,
Yeah.
and then they're going to go up from there. And you can get a foot kit like this one for a really great price. We'll come back to that in a minute. And you might look at it and go, well, I already have a couple of those feet. That's okay.
You can always use another.
If there's a couple of them in here you don't have, it's worth buying the whole kit because it's priced so well that it's okay to have a couple of multiples.
Yeah, and it'll never kill you to have multiple of a 1/4 inch with a guide.
No, because they sometimes run away in height.
Or if you have multiple machines.
So let me show you what's in this particular foot kit.
Okay.
So we're going to open it up here because you might as well see the real thing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they've got pictures, but
They have pictures.
might as well see the real deal.
So, of course, they're not in here in the same order that the picture is because
That'd be easy.
That would make too much sense, right?
Yeah.
But we have the braiding foot.
Okay.
We have the gathering foot, which is this one right here, which is a shearing and gathering, which is not the same as a ruffling foot.
Yes.
It does kind of random gathering.
Okay.
We have the roller foot.
We've talked about that one before.
We have the cording foot.
We talked about that one too.
That's this one right here.
Perfect.
We also have, I'm reading them in this order, the open toe foot, yes, which this one's nice because it's clear, so you can see not just in the opening, but all the way across.
Absolutely.
We also have the cording foot with 7 holes. That's the one I showed you here. Where's the other cording foot?
The 5-hole?
Oh, it's this one.
Oh, there you go. They're on there somewhere.
There. This is like kind of a cording and piping type
Got it.
Yes. And they have a handy little case. And then we also have the invisible zipper foot.
Perfect.
We have the 1/4 inch foot with guide. Which,
Everybody
again,
uses that one.
Having an extra one of those is not a problem. We also have the 1/8 inch hammer foot, which is this one right here that looks like it kind of twirls the fabric around because that's basically what it does. We also have that was the double cording welting foot. The edge joining foot, which is this one. And we have the Teflon foot, and we have the pin tuck foot, which is this one. Today, we are going to demonstrate for you. Which one shall we do first? The braiding foot?
Yeah, let's do that one first.
It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Okay, so.
If we can get them out, they have really good packaging.
They do have really good packaging. There is the braiding foot.
Okay.
And you'll notice, can you see kind of how it has that little wavy thing right there? That's so that we can put the cord or the braid or whatever it is you're going to put there. We're going to use a piece of yarn today. It goes over that and then it goes through that V shape right there.
Got it.
And Ashley and I were practicing this and she got super smart on me. What's the trick?
Put your cord or your yarn or whatever you're using through the hole before you put before you put the foot on the machine.
Yeah.
It's a little easier than trying to fight it through there while it's on there.
I keep the young brains nearby. I'm going to take the J foot off. And then I'm going to give this a nice little twist here to tighten it up. We're going to go through the hole.
If you're not using a fluffy yarn, it's a little easier, but
So
with something super fluffy, sometimes you gotta push it through. Or use tweezers or
something
a stiletto
like that.
or something.
See how I've got that laying over the little ridge, and it's going to go under the foot. Okay?
Looks good.
And then we're going to snap it in place.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
snap-on feet. Did you hear it snap?
Yes.
Okay.
Makes it
And
easy.
I think I'm also going to change my thread for the top because I want you to be able to see it pretty good. So I'm going to put on some black thread.
Sounds good.
Give me just a hot second to do that.
Yeah.
Remember, you always want to snip up here and then pull from here. You don't want to
Absolutely.
pull the thread backwards. Why is that, Ashley?
You end up with thread caught around your take-up lever or in your tension discs or
Thread
on your check
was
spring.
designed to go forward through the machine,
Yep.
not backwards out of the machine.
And I have had many a machine come in because there's thread caught somewhere.
And
will
people
help
don't ever want to own that they pull their thread out from the back of the machine.
Well,
We've all done it.
you know, if you've
Just
never
be
been
honest.
told.
But we've all done it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've done it too.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, don't do that.
You know,
so.
I always tell them do as I say, not as I do.
That's right.
You know,
oh, you're
'cause-
going to be such a good little mama.
You know, I don't always use a spool cap, but you should.
You should. You're correct. There's a reason we do things the way we do them. Okay, so we are going to use this lovely little piece of fabric here.
Okay.
And we need to do this in a zigzag
Okay.
because it needs to go over the yarn.
Yeah. And then depending on how thick of either a yarn or a cording or whatever you're
Can't
working
determine
with.
about how wide. So I'm just going to leave
Yeah.
it on its regular 3.5, but I am going to
Okay.
lengthen a little bit so it's not such a short stitch on there.
Yeah.
Because I really want this to be more decorative than anything.
And a lot of this is personal preference. You can kind of adjust it how you want it to, as long as it's holding down the.
Right, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, that sometimes they have a hard time getting something under their presser foot. You can lift up on your presser foot if you just push the lever
yeah.
up, and that's true on pretty much every machine.
You get a little bit more height out of it.
Right, and sometimes you need, oh, that's not what I meant to do.
Well, that's okay. We did
Okay.
it anyway.
Well, there. We made double sure that it was in there. I meant to just lower the presser foot. All right, you ready?
Yep.
And you can see how that just guides it right across there.
Wasn't that fun?
One more stitch, and then I'm gonna raise my presser foot, and I'm gonna turn it.
Ooh,
We're gonna make a pretty zigzag.
nice.
I should make it so my presser foot will go up and down on its own. How's that?
There we go. I love that. That was the feature that sold me my machine.
Oh, I'm telling you, you don't realize how much you appreciate little things like that until you have a machine that won't do it, and it's like, I mean, I have to lift up the lever.
Right? First world problems.
Isn't it though? But look how pretty that looks.
Oh, looks good.
Because you could do this with any kind of colors, and
yeah.
certainly if you have different kinds of cording or braiding. I'm not going in a very good zigzag here.
That's okay.
But it's nice to be able to do something decorative where it shows off not only the stitching, but you can see the cording. And I just had a gray on the back, but topical applications of things. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I didn't do anything fancy. I just used a white piece of yarn and some black thread, and it made a really big impact on how that's going to improve on something. Like, think on your quilting if you want to just add something to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like couching in a way, but it's not really couching. It's just adding cording.
Absolutely. I like
Okay,
that.
so that's that little trick.
Perfect.
Okay, so the next little foot we want to show you is going to be the pin tuck foot.
Perfect.
I'm going to turn this one over. Can you kind of see how it looks like it has a little sawtooth on the edge there?
Yeah.
Let's look at the back of that.
It's got a lot of little grooves.
It does have a lot of little grooves. And in those lot of little grooves is how we're going to be able to do something that's kind of like heirloom sewing.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing I want to do though is I got to change my needle because I need to use a twin needle
Yes.
to be able to do this. Now we've shown you a twin needle not too terribly long ago, but I'm going to do a couple of spools of gray thread here.
Okay.
All right, put my spool cap back on.
And on this one, you want to use a center needle position.
You do, and you cannot use your needle threader because
It'll smack the needle.
it will smack the needle. Well, actually, it wouldn't smack the needle. It would go in between them, and it wouldn't do it. Well, it would be a mess. Don't use your needle threader.
Yeah, don't use needle threaders with twin needles.
And one thing I've also mentioned before, but it doesn't hurt to mention it again, is when you use a twin needle, the thread that's the right hand thread, it goes through the same threading path, but then you don't put it through this hook right here. It's going to rest in front of it.
Got it.
Okay? So I'm going to put my twin needle on.
Perfect.
I've got that one out. I'm going to use the narrowest one I have, which is a 1.6 millimeter. You
Okay.
can see how close together those needles
So
are.
we'll have teeny tiny pin tucks.
Teeny tiny pin tucks. That's the look I'm going for here. And as you may recall, it's got the two needles, but it has the one shank.
Yes.
So the one shank is going to go up inside there.
And it goes in flat to the back, just like normal.
And I'm going to screw that down and really finger tighten that on there. You can use a screwdriver on it, but I will tell you, you can over tighten
Oh, yes.
a needle bar, and I've seen it happen, and sometimes you have to replace the whole needle bar because someone cranked down with their screwdriver like they never ever wanted that needle to ever come out again.
Maybe they didn't.
Maybe they didn't. I'll go ahead and thread my needles while we're at it. Again, you get to use the good old-fashioned...
Lick and stick.
No, I'm not going to lick it. I'll spare you that. So there's my left needle. Remember, it is behind the number 6, but my right needle is not. Like I say, I don't know the genius behind who figured that out, but I just do what they tell me to do. And
Exactly.
and it sews out lovely. Okay, see how that one's in front?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go over here and we're going to lower the feed dogs. Oops, I didn't quite get that one. There we go. The snap. And then I'm going to put it inside the groove right here.
Perfect.
Now, I'm going to move my, because right now I was still on that zigzag.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put this on a center needle position.
Perfect.
So I move my twin needle into the center. And the other thing, I don't know if you can see over here, Ashley, I'm going to go in my settings and I'm going to change this to where my needle ends in the up position. Mm-hmm. I typically like mine to stay down for pivoting purposes, but on this one, I have found it works better for me if it's in the up position. You can do it however you want, but that's a choice I'm making on this
one. The main reason I think that we're going up is because you can't use your thread cutter.
Oh, that's true.
So then you have to raise your needle at the end and then pull your fabric out.
Not that
and
it's
then
hard to
cut
touch the button, but
I mean,
if it just ends up.
it saves you a step.
We're also using
the cording bobbin cover.
Right. And just like we showed you on the braiding foot, it's easier to put your cording through the hole before you start stitching. And I'm going to use this really pretty blue.
Okay.
Because I think it'll show through the fabric. I have a pretty sheer fabric.
Yeah,
Do I go this way?
You go from the top.
I'm so glad you're here.
I only know because I practiced first.
And it comes up through that little groove right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to pop this one off.
It just kind of works as a little guide to keep you straight.
How many of you have ever used your cording foot? Show some likes on that one.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how many people have used their cording foot. It's amazing to me how many times people don't ever try some of the things that come with their machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to uncoil some of this so it's ready to go.
What thread are you using?
I am going to use...
for your cording here.
Oh, for my cording, this is Wonderfill.
It's a 12 weight?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a little bit heavier.
Yeah. So you don't have to use like a true cording. You could just use...
Right, and since if you saw the grooves on that, they're really narrow.
Really teeny tiny.
So, and I'm going to go like every other groove here for the pin tucking. It's always going to pin tuck down the center, and it's then how far over I move it to the left or the right. So I have just a fairly thin piece of just cotton fabric.
Okay.
And I'm going to put that right under the foot. I'm just going to center it under there. And then I'm going to pull taut. Can you see that piece of thread underneath there?
Yeah.
I'm going to pull taut on that. I'm just going to hang on to this when we get started.
Uh-huh.
And then I can let go once it gets going. But I need to keep the tension on that so that it's going to sew it straight.
Got it.
Going to just sew right off the end. Because remember, we can't do the scissor function, but I can sew past it and then trim it.
Perfect.
And then you see how that's on there?
Yeah.
And it's on the back.
Nice.
And then I'm going to make sure I pull that through because I don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
I can line it up with the grooves. Now you can do every one. I'm going to do every other one because I think that's going to be the look that I'm going for, where I line up. I'm moving it over. So this is going to go inside that groove.
Perfect.
Right there.
Got it.
And again, I'm going to get my thread straight in there, and I'm giving a nice little tug on it so you can...
Other strand.
Oops, ooh, I pulled the wrong thing. I'm hanging on the wrong one. Like so?
Yep.
And really, I was watching this one.
Mm-hmm.
The other one's going to go straight because it's just going to do its straight thing. Don't put your scissors, right?
Yep.
Pull a little more thread. So there's 2.
Oh, nice.
And then we can do one on the other side of it. Make sure I have hold of the correct one.
Excuse me.
Put that underneath there, and again I'm going, now I went to this side of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna figure out which one's the right one to pull. Not that one. Not that one. I don't know which one it is.
There we go.
And again, I'm just watching that groove, not the center. And I think I knocked my scissors off the back.
Oh.
Boy, it's a good thing you're here to help me.
That's what these long arms come in handy for.
But look how cool that is.
Oh, that's fun.
Isn't that neat? That's what it looks like on the back.
So as somebody who doesn't sew, or doesn't sew very much at least, what do you use pin tucks for?
So, in the good old days,
Okay.
do you go antique shopping ever?
Every once in a while.
Okay, so if you ever look at some of the old garments, especially if they were like done in white organdy, real thin white fabric,
Okay.
a lot of children's clothes were done this way.
Okay.
They will have these teeny little pleats that it's like it would fold over and it would make a little pleat, and then there would be another little pleat, and so you have all these tiny pleats. And doing micro pleating like that, that's some serious effort. And I'm trying to think about how they did that with the machines that they had.
Oh gosh.
With a treadle and one of those heavy cast iron irons trying to do all this. This is mimicking pin tucking,
Got
because
it.
pin tucking really is doing little micro pleating.
Got it.
And I live in the 21st century. I do it the easy way.
Yeah.
I know how to make those micro pleats. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to do. But I love looking at those because I think about how much effort went into those,
Okay.
given the tools that they had. And it's just a nice detail. I mean, imagine putting this on a garment where maybe that's, down the front of the shirt.
Okay.
Or even if you're doing something where you're trying to create some kind of unique fabrics that you put into quilting,
Okay.
again, it's just adding that little extra touch that can make the difference. And the gauzier your fabric and the different colors of cording that you can use underneath it are going to have an impact. If this was a really thin white and you'd used a bunch of different colors, what an impact that would have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So those are just a couple of the feet that were from this kit. So let me drop this one off of here and put this back over here in this kit, now that I've got it thoroughly tangled up in there. So we've shown you some of these before, but as I say, even if you already own a Teflon foot and a 1/4-inch foot, if you don't have a braiding foot and a pin tuck foot like we just showed you, you can buy this kit for about the same price as just buying each one of those 2 feet, and then you end up with all these extra feet. It's a great deal.
Absolutely.
It really is a great deal. Do you want me to show you how much they're on sale for?
Yes.
You're not going to believe it. If you know that you're spending about $16.99 per foot or more
On the low end. Yeah.
there's how many?
12, which is math. $32.
It's so worth it.
Yeah, that's 2 feet.
Yeah, why not buy a whole foot kit,
Absolutely.
right?
It'd be silly not to.
It is silly not to. We have these at all of the stores.
Okay, perfect.
So where are our stores, Ashley?
Oklahoma City, of course, Tulsa, Muskogee, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Springfield, Missouri, and Humble, Texas.
And we want you to call your store, go into your store, ask them to show you where these foot kits are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think sometimes people just let it go, oh, 12 feet, that's got to be this crazy expensive. It's not. It's really a great deal.
Absolutely.
Most of the time when we have things that are in a kit, it's a better deal.
Yep.
It just really is.
Getting thread sets,
It
foot
is.
kits, things like that is
You know what I
usually
think-
cheaper than getting individuals.
But I think we should do something fun this week.
Ooh, what are we doing?
Well, we need to be doing what? Like,
Share,
and comment. And when we do that, one lucky winner
Okay.
is going to get a Baby Lock 12-foot kit.
Oh, nice.
Do that by 5 o'clock this Thursday. We love to see how many times you're sharing this, how many times you're liking this, all the people that you're telling about it. Get people in the know about Be Sew In. We have so many fun things going on. A 12-foot kit or any of the foot kits, they're all wonderful. But we're going to give away a 12-foot kit this week, so we can't wait to see all of the fun comments that you all have for us. It's been fun sharing this with you. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Perfect.
So you all have a great time. Thanks for joining us. It's been fun. See you next week at New at 10.